Rock, Paper, Shotguns, PC Gaming Podcast, and the only podcast you need, in my opinion. Oh, can you imagine if you were a pro wrestler, Matthew? That would be amazing.
I don't think I'd like it. I'd be getting the chairs, and instead of hitting people, I'd set the chair up and I'd just have a nice sit in it and watch the rest of the wrestling.
I'd invite you to consider that the bottom line, because Matthew Castle suggested it. Drink to Ribena slowly.
They should have like a centrist dad character. Maybe they do. I should ask.
They've got to have
He
done
probably
that.
just exists to get driven through a table at every possible opportunity, though, isn't it?
That would be good.
That's
Anyway,
what I
yes,
don't
my name is Alice Bell, and I'm joined this week by Matthew Castle. Hello, Matthew, who has a terrifying background, being watched by himself, and Nate Crowley. Hello, Nate.
Hello.
You've got
That's Turkey
Boy. Your large cat.
He's vast. Look, my head could fit inside his body.
Did you get him nominated for BBC Sports Personality of the Year in the end, or?
No, that Twitter account completely ignored us for an entire year of photoshopping his head onto athletes. They didn't even acknowledge the joke. That angered me.
That's a mute after the first tweet, that one.
Oh my god. Anyway, we are coming to you live from our homes to yours as part of PAX Online and EGX Digital, specifically the EGX Digital, because we were unable to do our favourite gaming events live this year in person. So we're just doing a really big one online, and PAX EGX is running until the 20th. So, I mean, you're watching the stream now, but do check out the website. There's loads of great demos, and Matthew and Cullum are doing a whole day of streaming for Indies Uncovered on Thursday, which is very exciting. But we're not here to talk about that today. Today, we're here to do the RPS Electronic Wireless Show live special. So because real life is weird at the moment, we decided we wanted to talk about games that let us simulate life in other ways. We can't go outside. We can a bit. We're allowed outside a bit. But we have to find other ways to live life. And video games let us do that. Although first, we could do a traditional digression and just, how are you? Did you have a good weekend?
Oh, that's good. I'm leaning into my cat's legs.
Oh my god. It looks like you were sinking into its fur. Like it's so thick.
That is lovely, actually. I actually feel more relaxed for the optical illusion.
He looks like Leonardo DiCaprio's painting him.
He's got trousers, hasn't he? Big fluffy trousers. Good man.
So what did you get up to this weekend, Nate? Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. I can actually do a PC gaming anecdote here. I played a bit of Iron Harvest.
That's the Meki RTS. Is it RTS?
Yeah, there's some Polish artist, Jacob Wazowski, who does these amazing pictures you probably will have seen of like rural Poland with massive robots going bonkers in the background. And then they did the board game Scythe, and now they've done this RTS of it, which it's just, it's like Company of Heroes, basically, but with big chugsters. And it's got a really involved campaign that's really sort of hammy and just totally commits to the bit. And it was just what I wanted, to be honest. Lovely stuff. There's a bear who's your mate.
I thought you were just going to say there's a bear, full stop, but that was it. But
that's it. That's what you
get. Matthew? Sorry.
I've been playing a bit of Paradise Killer, which you reviewed on the site.
Yeah, excellent game.
And thoroughly enjoying it. It's like Crackdown with clues.
It's like
jump around on rooftops and find clues for murders.
And a lovely synthwave soundtrack as well.
Oh, it's very pleasant indeed. So that was a fun weekend.
You two have been playing video games. I haven't been doing that.
Actually, I did. Oh, sorry. I'll just say I've got a fish tank update, but it's a bit of an emo one. So please go ahead and tell us.
Yeah, sorry. No, press X to pay respects.
So yeah, regular listeners to the podcast might know of Laszlo and Nadia, the two Epistogramma cacatoides cichlids who form the mainstay of my What We Do in the Shadows themed Amazon biotope tank. And Laszlo died overnight. He just burst. Well, in the metaphorical sense, I just found him having a mortality this morning, which is odd because he was in perfect condition. So was the water. I tweeted about this and said that I had stuck on a bagpipe cover of Circle of Life and lowered him into the crayfish tank for a sky burial. And everyone thought I was doing a bit until my wife confirmed she had wondered why a bagpipe cover of Circle of Life was blasting through the house.
I do like that you do these things sort of for you. Like, you don't do them really for an audience. It's just something that you felt you needed to do.
Yeah, I was quite upset that people thought I would invent that for a lol.
You've actually got the makings of a good detective story there as well. Like a fish, the water was fine, the fish was in good health. What the hell happened?
I wish I knew.
Oh,
Well,
I mean, R.I.P. Press X to pay respects in the chat. How are your hermit crabs, Thanos and the Scorpies?
They're doing brilliant, actually. In fact, one of them has been renamed because they were having a bit of rough and tumble over shells. You may have seen that, I think it was on Planet Earth, the documentary, where it showed hermit crabs lining up like a mortgage chain to get into bigger shells.
Yeah.
Well, they're not that bloody polite IRL, absolute fiends just beasting each other for shells. So Ashley got a load of fancy shells. Bizarrely, you cannot buy decent large size hermit crab shells online. So she ended up getting these ridiculous sort of polished, decorated ones for food preparation. And there's one of the hermit crabs has just spent the last fortnight trying on increasingly ornate shells. So he's been renamed Dwayne Barack Johnson. And
oh, very good.
yeah, he's a legend. He loves climbing about on the roof now. It's like he's got a whole new character to go with his new name.
But
will they attempt to wear anything hollow as a shell?
Yes.
Like, could you give them like a toy car and see if they climb into that?
Yes. There is a chilling video which many people have sent me on Twitter of a hermit crab wearing a sea-corroded plastic doll's head on its abdomen. That's a bit much.
Oh, wow. I mean, that really is a bit much, and a demonstration of the strange times we live in, sea pollution, that, you know, life is in a weird place. This is an attempt at a segue. I'm going to try and, like,
I smell a segue.
I've got my soundboard, so I might try a sting, see if it comes through. Oh! Is that one of yours, or is that
that is
a looming hermit crab?
Cenobita brevimanus, that's one of mine. I just thought he'd be nice to loom behind me.
Lovely. So,
we didn't do a theme tune, but
well, the theme tune's about half an hour long. We can't do a theme tune on the live.
We could dance to it. We could actually have a legit rave to it this week.
So we're going to talk about simulation games. I'm going to ignore that. This is was it Ashley who said that each week Matthew is taking on kind of the person that, like, Matthew was a well-behaved student, and then, like, Nate has been encouraging him to naughty behavior at the back of the class.
She said his behavior has been markedly more rambunctious since he's been sat next to me in class. I think the teacher's going to separate us soon.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I will inevitably the one who gets expelled while Nate is fine. That's how this works.
I'll dare you to eat a newspaper for a $5 and you'll be sick all over the head's office.
Papier mâché.
Oh, God. On that note, so we're going to talk about simulation games. I obviously am going to bring up The Sims, but I don't know if anyone wants to get in there first.
Actually, just thinking about sicking up papier mâché all over a school. The game that was blatantly meant to be called Bully, but was called, like...
Oh, it was called Bully in some territories. Canis Canem Edit. that the one you're thinking of?
Yeah, that felt like they preempted a moral panic there and quickly made it about sort of morally confusing schoolyard justice. But that was originally going to be just a straight up bullying simulator, wasn't it?
Well, as I understand it, because I haven't actually played it, but everyone says it's actually pretty good and has like some layers, and everyone keeps asking Rockstar to like release it or make a sequel or something like that. Is that
Because
true?
wasn't that set in like
Yeah.
a public school?
Yes.
By which, for American readers, I mean a private school. We've got a very weird naming policy on that front, haven't we?
It's because it prepares you for life serving the public. It's basically supposed to be if
Oh.
you're going to become an MP or whatever, you go to public school.
Is that why it
Is that the
is?
truth?
That was what my history teacher told me. I don't know.
It's very confusing.
Mm.
I think you turn up and you are a thug, but then you're kind of a thug with a heart of gold, and everyone else turns out to be rotten. So thrashing, basically whoever you thrash, you're a hero in that game. Because the world is fundamentally corrupt and broken. So thrash away. That's
You're
my motto
thrashing
too.
future Tory MPs, so it's okay.
Future all MP, everyone gets a thrashing in that game.
There you go, centrist dad strikes again.
As it should be.
Anyway, as I was saying, to drag this train back onto the track, I was going to talk about The Sims, obviously, because that's a big simulation game. But I don't know do either of you have any interest in The Sims at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I picked up osmosis from working with Alice L on the video channel for so long, because she was really into The Sims and we did a lot of Sims stuff. I don't really know what you're meant to do with it. So I am interested to hear what
locked a
the
man in a
appeal is.
concrete box and made him lift weights until he died of despair. It was like a sort of a cautionary tale about Jordan Peterson, I think.
Jordan Peterson on his all meat diet.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting point. So why is that, Nate?
It's an owl with muscly arms instead of wings, carrying a burger away from a planet engulfed in explosions.
All right. I'm just going to leave that because I know if I ask about it further, that'll be another 5 minutes gone. I'm not falling for your trap, sir. I'm not activating this trap card. So The Sims, like I was into The Sims when I was a kid. I would do that thing because my parents didn't fully understand computers. So I'd do that thing where I'd stay up past my bedtime, and if I heard my parents coming, I'd turn the monitor on the computer off. And then they wouldn't know it was still on if they came in to check. Playing The Sims, I always made like the person I wanted to be, which was always like a willowy. For some reason, I always wanted to be a redhead.
When you say willowy, do you mean like Willow off Buffy, or like a
no, like thin and graceful, but also a witch. Yeah, why not? But like The Sims has evolved over time. I would say The Sims has always had quite a dark energy to it. In that, people have always since the very first iteration of The Sims have locked their Sims in concrete boxes or made them wet themselves to death, or like put
The swimming pool and then sell the ladder.
Sell the ladder. That's the classic, isn't it? Which you can't do anymore, I don't think. Or they maybe changed it for one of them.
They've learned to climb out of the pool rather than just drown.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I know, right? But like basically you do The Sims for sort of there are sort of three things really that The Sims comprises of. One is making your Sims and like giving them all outfits. There's loads of custom content for like different hair and stuff. And actually there's been there was a petition to have more realistic, darker skin tones, because currently The Sims is quite Aryan. So there's loads of like really good custom content for creating Sims, and then you've got like building, which is the bit I really like. Like I like building homes and putting loads of plants in, using the sheets and stuff to make things bigger and smaller and clip into each other, so you can do loads of interesting stuff with it. And
If you've not seen Alice's house builds on RPS, check them out. They're lovely.
Thank you. I'm not a very advanced builder, really. You should see some of the things people make. Someone's made like an entire medieval village, but just on one like 60 by 60 like square plot. It's amazing. The least interesting bit of The Sims to me is playing The Sims and doing the actual life simulation bit, because I mean, at a certain point you realize you're just doing you're making them get up, have breakfast, go to work, come home, watch TV, and then maybe do a hobby. Although they have added stuff like, so the DLC packs have added like, non-copyright infringing Harry Potter world and like
Well, haven't you been
Alien.
playing like Crochet Carnage recently or something? They've added a load of knitting business, haven't they?
Nifty knitting, yeah, that was a stuff
That's
pack
it.
recently. So that's even more my life. I've got look in front of me is a thing I'm making at the moment. That's a hand warmer.
Oh,
If you play it straight, what are you actually aspiring to? Like, if you play The Sims as it's meant, as it's designed, do you start off in like a not very good house and you're working towards having the income to build your dream house? Like, what is winning in The Sims?
I mean, that in theory, yeah, that is it. Like you start as in a starter home, and then you work your way up, and then you get a job and you make more money, and you basically live a life, right? But that's quite boring. So so what Sims players do is sort of bringing back that dark wing in a concrete box energy is make these challenges. So you play games with like quite prescriptive rules. Like there's the 100 babies challenge is my favorite, which is like woman as ant queen.
So you have to eat 100 babies.
Yeah, you cook them. So basically you create a female sim, and then she has to have like as many babies as possible, like 100 basically,
In her lifetime.
if she can. If she can't, then her daughter has to take on her eldest daughter has to take up the mantle. And it has to be with like 100 different men as well.
Are there 100 men in the Sim town or wherever they live?
Well, that's the thing. You have to go out and like seek out, like you have the baby, and then you have to immediately get back on the grind to find
It's
another
like that
man.
film where Scarlett Johansson goes around Scotland kidnapping men in a van. What's that?
yeah, Avengers Endgame.
Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fell asleep near the beginning, but I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was about.
Oh God, imagine if it was. Did you see what Chris Evans did, by the way, this week?
Well, did he drive around Scotland kidnapping people in a van?
No, he accidentally put a picture of his willy on Instagram.
Oh no, poor guy.
I know, it was really.
But then the internet was all like really nice about it and like kind of covered for him because he's so loved.
You know that bit in Spider-Man where they cover his face and put his mask back and all look away? It was kind of like that. Like everyone just tried.
If I did that, I'd be crucified. That's because I'm not like Chris. I'm not loved like Chris Evans, unfortunately.
He's so nice, though. He is
so nice.
He's the only one of the Chris's I really hold a flame for.
Me too, yeah.
If the other Chris Evans did that, no way.
Yeah, we should say.
Yeah.
For the anyone American viewing or listening to this, we have a Chris Evans as well, and he's
not quite like your Chris Evans.
How would one describe our Chris Evans without getting EGX in trouble? We can leave it at ghastly. It's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, you like. There's stuff like that, or like there's one that's quite grim called Rags to Riches, where you don't build a house. You start off with like just a plot of land, and then have to like basically you start with nothing, and you have to like, because that's the two things you do. You either make it really, really hard for yourself, or you make it really easy for yourself and use money cheats to just have a charmed life and never want for anything.
What
I
about
like that.
a challenge mode called Brags to Britches, where you start off with no money and you've just got to boast until someone gives you a pair of old school trousers?
It's probably a mod for that.
It probably is. There's more.
I like that. I like that people use mods to basically introduce all kinds of horrors into that world that don't exist, like violence. I like that people taught them to do violence to each other.
Is there no
Sex
violence
violence,
in
basically.
baseline Sims?
No, because I mean that'd be weird. I guess
But
they
like, you
do.
can properly get them to like murder each other and like become drug dealers and stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a great challenge. It's like the Black Widow challenge, where you make a female sim and then get her to marry and then kill successive men and then like hoard their urns or gravestones around the house, basically.
Now, see, combining that with the 100 Kids challenge might actually bring a sense of karmic justice to it,
Yeah, true.
while maintaining two different sets of horror. Kind of into that more than either concept on its own.
So it's The Sims is weird because it's a game that was essentially about simulating real life, and but then people decided that was too boring, like, so it's a game that on a base level is a very straight kind of one-to-one simulation of life. Like, you make a sim, they get a job. That one of the best things, by the way, is to get promoted at work. Sometimes it'll be like, get to level whatever in this skill or whatever, but then also it'll be like, have 3 friends. Like, can you imagine if we had to go to Graham and be like, Graham, I want a promotion? He was like, how many people came to your birthday party?
Yeah, can you show us the passports of 3 people who would consider you a mate? No, you said when you were younger you played The Sims as an aspirational thing, playing this sort of figure you wanted to be. Do you think most people quietly do that at some point with The Sims and just sort of, I mean, it must be quite tragic for some people sort of living out the life they wish they could have had?
I mean, it is still aspirational for me, because as I said, I mostly play it for the building and building a nice house that has loads of like nice art and living plants in it and like a decent sized kitchen and living area. Like, owning a 3-bedroom house feels very aspirational to me. Like that feels something I will maybe be able to achieve, maybe, and certainly filling it with living plants is unachievable. So
I'm
so
just jealous that all the Sims have clothes that fit them. Oh, that's good.
That's true. Yeah, they I mean, they're weirdly, the new clothes have been on like a kind of skirt short, the things that are combined, like skirt with trousers or like skirt with shorts. I've had a few of them recently, not sure why.
Yeah, that's the thing. Do you mean where it's like trousers but it's got a skirt bit on it?
Yeah, so you got trousers and then you just got a skirt over the top.
I've
Is
never
that not just
truly
a
been
long
able to
t-shirt?
comprehend that.
A long t-shirt.
Like a long t-shirt running down over some jeans, like that.
No, like, you have some jeans and then around the top of the jeans there's like an asymmetric or a skirt bit attached to the jeans.
That sounds like someone who can't make their mind up between trousers and a skirt. And you can't have him all.
Yeah, it's like it's the new jorts, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
What a take! Oh, that's nuclear.
The
actually.
new
I'm taking
jorts,
that
same
back.
as the old jorts. That's what I say.
I mean, maybe let's move on, because you said that's a take, but Nate, I understand you have quite a strong take that you're going to try and sell to us. Ray, a simulation game.
Yeah, Count Takula here, Thomas the Take Engine. Yeah, I'm going to find the background that's going to introduce my take. Sorry, I'm not that used to this in Skype. I really like the new power. here we go. It's not even going to be a very good joke. I'm just happy that I can put the image behind me. It's sort of pro, isn't it? Great use of airtime here, but I've started, so I'll finish.
Yeah.
I've just forgotten what folder I put in. Yeah, there we are. Always covered by my fat head.
Yeah, I can't see it, mate.
What's that?
Well, it looks like the tram from the start of Half-Life 1, but it can't possibly be that, as we're talking about life sims.
Yeah, that is indeed the extreme opinion I'm bringing to this party. I think the beginning of the original Half-Life, obviously, if we're honest, is everyone's favourite thing about it, because it was a game that became this ludicrous fiasco involving aliens and US Marines and things. But it started off, you were just a guy going to his job. And, unusual elements crept in, admittedly, but that was what was really spectacular about it at the time. So, I'm just on the train, just listening to a tannoy. I'm probably thinking about what sandwiches I've got in my bag. There's the security guard I speak to every day. I liked Half-Life best when it was mundane. It's like I always wish there was a Jurassic Park movie that was just a dinosaur park operating at maximum efficiency for 2 hours. And that's it.
That's the Jurassic Park games, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I've been playing a bit of Evolution recently, and it's... I actually find it most annoying with all the things it put in, like storms and things, that mean you get dinosaur escapes and stuff. Because I'm sort of, can you stop doing that so I can get back to optimal landscaping, please? I'm not really interested in the dinosaurs running amok.
Okay, back to Half-Life though. There are many games that start off and it's like, oh, I'm just on my way to work, or this is life. Like,
I think that arguably sort of started that cliche, though, didn't it? Because it wasn't a cliche then; it was something. Usually, it was you waking up in a military base and having to kick a demon.
And it may be like, I struggle to think of a good example before Half-Life of a game that started with like just a domestic intro, or had the kind of, the guts to start mundane.
This is interesting because usually Matthew is disagreeing with Nate, and now the children, the kids are ganging up.
The back of the bus boys united.
We're the back of the train in Snowpiercer. That's more the vibe I'm going for.
Has the same energy as one of those Reddit comments that's like, finally I got up and I started teaching the class and they all paid attention to me, a 14-year-old who knew about the solar system more than the teacher.
And I grew up to become Einstein.
It's quite a slight slice of life. Like, isn't it just a tram and then you get off the tram and then the lab explodes? Or am I misremembering that? No,
because you chat with Barney, the sort of Paul Blart of Black Mesa, and then you talk with the science man, and then they're like, "Now, Gordon, if you stand there and move the trolley and then turn the cog," and you do a load of sort of, boring generic physics things. I love that because it's smart. It's doing that thing of narrativizing the tutorial, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which is also something I love in games. I really, like a tutorial where the storytelling going on is interesting enough that you don't mind, pressing bloody C to crouch for no good reason.
There's that one in Splinter Cell Conviction, I think it is, where it teaches you about light and dark by having you turn off lights in like your daughter's bedroom when she's going to sleep.
No.
And you it's something like that, and it's got you turn off the lights and then it teaches you about the visual indicators, and then it instantly cuts to using the same trick to like murder a man. It's quite it's quite jarring.
Oh, that's heavy.
Yeah,
very heavy. But so that would be my thing. I guess I've always had a fleeting wish that Half-Life had just been about the day in the life of a man working in a shady physics laboratory.
I mean, I was prepared to argue with you for quite some time about this, but I feel like you've actually made a good case for your hot take this week. Yeah, I know, yeah.
This is like the cops showing up with one of those little battering ram things, only to like swing back and have the door open to someone offering them a pint.
I mean, I can do another brilliant segue because you mentioned, it's like just going to work on a tram. Matthew, I believe you were going to talk about transportation as well, were you not?
No.
Were you going to talk about Bus Simulator?
No, I was going to talk about House Flipper.
Oh, well, same
House
difference.
Flipper, I guess as an into all job simulations, games that let you do things which are more attainable than other games. I'm not saying like anyone can just become a bus driver or become a decorator or builder. I mean, there's skills and career paths with these things, but they are not Space Marines. There's a difference there. Have either of you played House Flipper?
Yes, I got well into it for like a few weeks because it's so weird but so compelling.
Is this a Playway SA job?
It might.
They're the company that makes $1 million X Simulator.
And occasionally one of them hits gold.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Hang on, let me look it up.
Yes, I want to say yes.
Because I got fascinated by them after that Deadliest Catch game. It just seems they found this niche of doing very bare bones simulations, and as you say, occasionally there's a banger.
So this one, it's Playway, is one of the publishers.
House Flipper is, as the name suggests, you get a bad house, you go in, you tidy it up, and then you sell it for a profit, or you help someone else sell it for a profit. And it's very, very repetitive in that you just go in and you have to tidy everything up first. So there's like slime everywhere and pizza boxes.
Yeah. Who lived in there? Ghosts?
Well, that's what's kind of funny about it, because it'll be like the students did a right number on this, and you go in and there's like mud on the roof, and you're just like, what the hell happened here? Students are wild. And yeah, I don't think you're even against the clock in it. I think you just have infinite time to just very slowly tidy a house and then paint it. And it gets a bit Simsy in that you can place furniture and sort of feng shui it up a bit and make it all super nice and chill. But it's a very relaxing time. It makes you think, it must be quite nice going into a house and kind of turning it around like this, which I imagine is the appeal of the job.
No, the appeal of the job is making vast amounts of money from the rigged, nightmarish property market. Who the hell wants to tidy up a house for leisure?
Well, because it's much easier.
The hot take.
No, because it's much easier than it is in real life. Like in real life, tidying is way more complicated than any game could show it, because in real life, there's a bit of your room which is dusty, and you're like, I'm going to dust that, and it's quite arduous dusting it. Well, I find it quite arduous anyway. And then you notice everything else is also filthy, and or not in its place. Like, many more things can go wrong with mess in real life than in House Flipper, which is like a 10-minute cleanup job, basically. Like, there are 3 bits of dirt, each has 1 tool. That isn't true in real life.
You cannot abstract chaos, otherwise it's not chaos.
No, it's really good. Like you clean. There's loads of like mud splattered on a wall or something, and you basically clean it up by like having a mop and going at it, like on the wall a couple of times.
And then you just pick up some newspapers and stuff. But you can't do that in real life.
And you don't have to like hire anyone else to do any of the anything. Like you apply, like you buy doors and just put the door in yourself, and you paint the walls in like really thin strips one at a time yourself, and you there are no like lads who like hello, have I gone?
Hello.
No.
No, you're still here. I was just.
Oh,
I'm
no, I've
really
lost-
into the.
I've lost
Hello?
visual on you, but I'll keep going. But
Me?
everyone.
Oh my god.
Uh, so like it just makes it so easy, and then you make you make vast sums of money like almost immediately.
I quite like the idea of the painting. That sounds relaxing.
I do like making like like the heinous, like really awful, like bright orange stripes next to purple and stuff. And
But it also like it feels like when I do these tasks in real life, the rare occasion I do these tasks in real life, I do kind of gamify a lot of stuff in my head. So like when I had to strip all the wallpaper from my house, you'd be like splitting it into sectors so you could kind of, I'm not saying I applied any complex narrative to it, but there was, you're like, we've got to do this in 5 minutes or like the world will end. That kind of stuff.
Oh, I love applying a complex narrative to stuff.
he does, yeah.
It's great fun.
I used to do it as a child. I remember like pecking up Lego, and in my head it was always like a cleanup after like some city destroying event. And it was like, and in my head would just be like the discussion between the people who are in charge of this cleanup operation, and they're all just talking.
So lovely, Matthew. That's so sweet. I like you. So you've always liked cleaning up?
No, I hate cleaning up, but I've always liked trying to, spice up cleaning up that I have to do.
I'm really imagining the young Matthew wearing a bow tie, but in a nice way, not in the sort of the,
young Sheldon.
Yeah.
I wish. I'd love that.
You should play. There's one of these extremely specific simulation games called Train Station Renovation, which is doing the same thing, but like renovating train stations to be train stations again. And I love it because of like imagining the infrastructure behind. Like, why is there enough train station renovation happening to sustain a company where its entire job is renovating train stations? Like, what country is this? What is the economic upheaval going on?
No, there are loads of train stations.
Yeah, but why are they being renovated? Why did they shut down in the first place? Why am I renovating them?
It's just entropy, isn't it? The sad fact that everything decays. I mean, the London Underground's got how many stations?
No, but they're all. It's not like they're in use stations that I am. Well, some of them are, but like they are dilapidated. They are out of use train stations.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That I am renovating to be train stations again.
The contracts are probably inflated by like corrupt contract giving out organizations as well.
You know what I love? Those weird conversions where they turn like, I don't know, like a bum factory into flats or whatever, or like an old church into a...
Those are really good, actually.
I lived in a church flat.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd love a game about converting them with like building and everything, where it's like, oh, how am I going to turn this old,
bum factory? You can go with that.
Bum factory into like 15 shoebox-sized commuter hutches.
Oh no! This wall through the cheek processing plant is a load-bearing wall. How am I gonna?
Exactly.
But because it's also, there's like an art in keeping like 1% of the original building.
Yeah.
So that people are like, see that there? That's the original, washing machine from this what used to be an industrial clothes washing plant or something.
Actually, weirdly, that exact sentiment I always try to go for in city builders, like where I've got a game where it spans a huge amount of time. I will love to preserve original, or like in RimWorld or something, like the original like tragedy sheds that the first guy builds. I will like keep that intact. As the place gets larger and more unrecognizable. I really love that, and I imagine people like doing tours around it. And this is where Herbert Bums for Eyes first set down the dog pelt he would sleep on that fateful first night, and now here we are eating fresh cabbage.
Is there anything else from simulation games that you'd like to talk about? Because I did want to talk about Wowcraft, but
I played a bus simulator, but like short of just driving around and like the satisfaction of getting to use the little coin machine to give people their exact change.
Does Bus Simulator have people being really rude to the bus driver in it? Because
I think you can like. I don't know if there's like a pipe down button or something that you can press. But...
Pipe down.
Pipe down.
Is it like Surgeon Simulator or a?
It's not played for laughs. It's pretty straight. It's
Surgeon Simulator's not played for laughs. It's a very serious game.
yeah, but it's not like someone gets on and you give them the wrong change and their eyes fall out or whatever.
But are you like moving your hands around in a sort of a ghastly quap business?
You're not a jelly that has to control like a vehicle full of fragile flesh people.
Well, I was just thinking of the coin machine. Like that would be hell on earth if you were quapping it. But
oh yeah.
Is it just like press F?
It's very like very matter of fact.
imagine Octodad doing Bus Simulator. Someone mod that.
Tentacle for each change thing.
That's true, actually. Yeah, but it is a phenomenon that you get. Like loads of people Twitch stream, loads of comedians as well. Like Limmy does the truck simulator, Euro Truck sim.
But that's something else, though, isn't it?
On Twitch.
That's like there's like a super zen element, which you don't get that in House Flipper or Bus Simulator, I don't think. But you do on those long, quiet, lonely drives.
At what point in the 90s did we start to say zen instead of boring?
But I sort of understand.
It's just games about going in a straight line, like.
But it's like fishing, isn't it?
No, it's not like fishing.
Fishing's just sitting, Nate, with a stick.
Okay. Oh, I see the game we're playing here. Okay. Yeah, well, but at least that's in, reality. Video games aren't real. No, but I understand that the simulated landscape of Utah is beautiful. But I could just look at some photographs of Utah. Like, it's never going to be as good. I imagine the Zen experience of driving a truck through Utah, but a 3D model of Utah.
A lot of it's nighttime as well, and so you don't see anything. They drive through the night, so you only see the tarmac lit up in front of you. You could be anywhere.
Do they have
was approaching spoken word poetry there? That was good. Actually, a really good set of lines.
Do they have like bottles that you have to press X to pee in and stuff, so you don't have to stop and that? That would be an authentic experience, wouldn't it?
I've always. Is this right? Do they? In the big carriages, the big truck, the driving cabin, the cab. Do they have little hidden beds up top?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to get into one of those just to see what it was like.
I imagine it's like, a caravan bed.
No, yeah. I know the feeling. I have always entertained a sort of a fascination to what it'd be like to live in a truck and have this weird little flat in the roof of a car, essentially. It's very exciting.
But I don't know if they simulate it to that level.
If they don't have the pee bottle, I'm out. It's a coward simulation.
Tell us about WoW, though. I'm desperate to know how you're gonna sell World of Warcraft as a real life simulation.
Well, with just this, the Corrupted Blood Plague of 2005, and actually it was on, I think it was the 13th of September. So it's been 15 years ago this week that the Corrupted Blood Plague nearly destroyed Wowcraft.
I beg your pardon, 15 years.
I know, yeah, 2005 it was. So I played WoW a bit at school, and then I played it again after I left university as a way to keep up with friends who I'd been at school with. And I missed the Corrupted Blood Plague. But basically, do you know what it is, Matthew?
No. Is this a thing that was meant to happen, or is it like something that went wrong?
No, it's an accident.
Oh, right.
So it was the first ever raid, and who was the raid? And basically, it was big boss fight, and boss fights are instanced. So they're sort of away from the other bits of the game. And there's this boss that had an attack called the Corrupted Blood, which would damage you for 10 seconds. And then also, if you were stood near enough to another character, you could give it to them, and then they'd be damaged for 10 seconds. And then it would, after 10 seconds, it would stop, and it wasn't supposed to ever leave the instance. And what happened was, there's a class of character called a hunter who has a pet, an animal, and the animals could get the Corrupted Blood effect on them, and then people would dismiss them so they didn't die, leave the fight, go back to the game, and then summon their pet again, but the pet would still have Corrupted Blood, so then Corrupted Blood, like, basically from that infested the entire game.
Oh my god.
But haven't actual virologists and stuff like looked into it?
Yeah, so this is my argument, right? Basically.
Oh, I see. Oh, you clever sods.
Yes. So it was studied by actual virologists and like immunologists and people like that to model how humans might behave in a pandemic. And actually you can see examples basically one-to-one of all the behaviors we're seeing at the moment. So like some people so NPCs who couldn't die, like shopkeepers and stuff, became super spreaders because they would just get it and then just give it to anyone they came into contact with. You would see people were like monitoring in chat groups. They were really closely monitoring the spread of it across servers in different cities.
Low-level players would just burst straight away when they got it, wouldn't they? Because they wouldn't have enough hit points to handle it.
So it killed like low-level players almost immediately. But then you got like high-level players who could just survive it and just go about their normal business, would just not change their behavior and just keep giving it to other people and sustaining the plague.
Who does that sound like?
Some people like ran to the hills basically and like hid out in the woods to try and avoid people. You got like some people who tried to be like first responders because they were high level but also they could heal lower level players, but then would inadvertently keep spreading the disease as well. You got some instances of people deliberately trying to keep it going because they thought it was funny.
I probably would have done that.
And I guess the
that
parallel
hasn't happened with Corona. I don't think
where's
there's
the parallel is people being like, it's fake, I'm not wearing a mask, etc.
There's a difference between there's fake and it's funny.
Yeah. And the devs, like Blizz, tried everything they could to try and get rid of it. So they did like they basically tried. They were like, please, if you have it, don't go near people.
Everyone go to this car park, and there's going to be some testing tents set up. So they had to invent car parks for Warcraft. Just ruined it.
Some players went into like self-isolation to there was a failed attempt at a quarantine, but players kept escaping from it. And eventually they just had to reset the server.
They did a lovely homage to the Cursed Bloods in Hearthstone last year, where one Blizzard staffer used this card back, because you could have different decorated card backs, and they used this Cursed Blood card back, and then everyone they played against automatically took on the card back until after a couple of weeks, everyone playing Hearthstone had this card back. I loved it. I've kept
That's
it.
Really good.
It's good.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, so it was used as a good model to predict human behavior during an outbreak, because you can make models, but the simulation that you make will only do what you tell it to, essentially. Whereas this happening in WoW also introduced like just human responses of people like being kind of horrible and like.
It fills you with hope though, because fundamentally WoW recovered, went from strength to strength.
Yes, I'm not sure
loads of pandas turned up soon after.
True.
So maybe that's on the cards for us.
I'm not sure we want to encourage a server reset of the world, but
But I wouldn't mind more orcs.
More
And
orcs, yeah,
pandas.
and pandas.
No, I despise the World of Warcraft pandas. They're the silliest thing.
Well,
Didn't
that is
need
a
them.
strong take on World of Warcraft's panda.
Well, they were
race.
sort of racist as well, weren't they? They were certainly appropriative.
Oh, well, I mean, if we're going to start talking about WoW being racist and appropriative, we're going to be here all day.
Yeah, actually, should we just not open that enormous box of trolls? 'Cause
Let's
that is-
close
yeah.
that cursed box and instead leave her open the door to the Cavern of Lies.
She's good. She's good.
Shall I do it?
Yeah, do it.
The Cavern of Lies.
Excellent.
That's a little look behind the curtain. That, yes, it isn't a sound effect of a door. It's me.
Here I am in the cavern. I'm
And
prepared
here
to
I
screenshot.
am.
Oh no, it's Garfield.
Oh, wait, how did that get there? I meant that, a cavern.
I don't have a
Lovely.
cavern.
Do you want Garfield?
So Nate is our host in the Cavern of Lies this week, and if you have not listened to the podcast before, the Cavern of Lies is essentially a sort of two truths and a lie game, or kind of not. Basically, Nate is going to either make up a load of stuff and try and convince us it's true, or describe a load of true stuff and try and convince us it's a lie. And Matthew and I have to decide if what he's describing is in fact true, which is a
Nice.
or if it's a lie.
Ooh la la.
So, what is the theme of the Cavern of Lies this week?
Well, I really liked the way it's sort of low-key turning into an RPG, like with you being the old geezer off Indiana Jones last week. So this week, I run out of a side corridor. No, I don't. You see there's like a shaft of light behind me.
Yeah.
A hawk flies down from that, and then it turns into me, for I am a Beastmaster.
Oh,
this
like
week.
Raven off of Raven.
Exactly, yeah. And I like click my fingers and a turtle comes out of the water to bring me a bounty, which I mash. I say,
And chew for eternity, because that's what happens with bounties.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I keep them in the bloody freezer as well, so of
Oh
course.
my god.
In the freezer?
Yes, we've been through this. Bounties are great from the freezer.
Oh, it's like,
But not
coconuts
the
are a little
fridge,
bit
the
too easy
freezer.
to eat.
Yeah, no, it's good.
How
Mars
do you
bars
eat-
as well?
How do you eat a frozen bounty?
With a hammer.
Slobber on it.
No, you just sort of gnaw at it. You know, like when you see, like when they give polar bears like blocks of frozen fruit in an attempt to stop them going insane in zoos.
Yeah.
Like it's a bit like that. It's like, fish fingers are good like that as well. Anyway, moving on.
I'm not even going to touch that. Carry on.
So I'm there with all my beasts, and you notice that a gorilla has locked the door of the cavern behind you, and it's got a shooter. And I say, that is Large Charles, and he's going to end your lives unless you can correctly identify the real virtual beast keeping games from, or the animal simulation games.
Okay.
Right,
all
okay.
right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off with Wolf Quest, or more specifically, Wolf Quest 2.7, which was a game from 2013, which it was an educational game,
Yeah.
part funded by a zoo, and part made by a video game developer. And they did loads of research into wolves. It was meant to teach children about wolves. Free game, purely made for wolf knowledge.
The 2.7, was that as in version 2.7 rather than it being a sequel?
It was sort of a sequel. That was the one where they patched in customizable pelts.
All right. I was leaning towards true, but
Do you play as a wolf?
Yes.
what do you do?
You spend a lot. It's a bit like The Sims. You spend a lot of time customizing your wolf. So there's like sliders where you can change the tints of the various types of hair on the wolf.
I'm going to stop you now, Nate, because unusually for the podcast, we can see your face, which is not normally the case for Cabin of Lies. And I feel like you're struggling to get through this even. So
This is Cabin of Lies hard mode. That one is. That's an ooh la la if ever I heard one.
That's the only one I've ever heard one. Because also, there's no way you would know that's the one where they patched in customizable pelts.
Ooh la la.
That's a
It's
lie.
real. It's real. It was made by Minnesota Zoo and the game developer company EduWeb. WolfQuest 2.7 added many new customization features, including more pelts as well as injuries and a radio collar.
Nice.
Oh my god. Okay.
I got you with the WolfQuest.
You got me with okay. We've all right.
We've got to get this together.
We found the level. Okay, all right.
So the next one is from a bit earlier. So this is from 2002, and it's a game called Home Chimp, which is like, you remember the Tamagotchis and the virtual pet craze at the end of the 90s?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So no, your face is making me want to laugh, and then you're going to it's not fair because you're going to think it's a lie because I'm looking at your really hard-faced disbelief. So
Wait, already. I'll be honest. I'm already highly suspicious because it's got chimp in the title.
Yeah, but don't you think I would choose, like, WolfQuest sounds like something I would call like going to the loo or something. You know, I'm choosing things that are going to really have the reek of my guff. And Home Chimp is really
Karen
there.
explaining Home Chimp.
Well, it was desktop pets. Do you remember the Bonzi Buddy thing that was actually just like rampant with spyware or whatever?
Yeah.
It was like that. Only the idea was, it was a realistic chimp that would sit around on your desktop, and you would have to feed it. Well, that sort of Studio Ghibli animation where it's sort of pleasant, old school but quite precise. It was beautifully animated, and it was this little chimp that would sit there, and it would sort of like hoot sadly as chimps do if you didn't feed it. Like, it couldn't die or anything like that, and it didn't sort of screech and do all the sort of terrifying things chimps do.
When was this?
But I think it was 2002.
And who made it? What was the genesis of Home Chimp?
It was a Japanese developer. I'm not going to lie, I've forgotten the name, but it was a PC desktop thing.
It's a beautifully animated
in 2002
Ghibli-esque chimp.
Yes, like that is completely in keeping with the technology of the time.
Right. So Matthew, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think this is just Nate describing something he wishes existed.
This does have the reek of something Nate would love. I don't know. I just think this very delicately animated chimp that doesn't seem to, like, you don't need to do much and it's still fine. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think this is an ooh la la.
I agree. I'm gonna go la la.
Ah, yeah, no, you got me. Home Chimp's not real. I do wish it was. So yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, let's see how you deal with Savage Pond, which was a really old school game for the BBC Micro.
Oh, okay.
1985. It's 1 year younger than me. The box art was amazing. It had all classic British pond life, like a frog and a tadpole and a worm and stuff, but they were all like grimacing and looking like sort of pub men. And you played as a tadpole, where you had to grow into a frog while avoiding all the various pond gits. So it was quite true to life. And it got a lot of good criticism, a lot of good responses from critics, because like Frogger wasn't realistic. The frog couldn't swim. Centipede was a joke scientifically. It was a space shoot 'em up. Didn't even look like a centipede. So, Savage Pond got a lot of props for at least representing pond creatures realistically. Everyone, even all the characters had Latin names. And there was a frightening dragonfly larvae, warp fleas.
Listen,
Yes.
mate. This guy, like, it got reviewed well because it depicted pond life accurately.
Yes. That was one of the positive comments made about it at the time.
By who? PC Gamer?
By yeah. By Les Ellingham.
Right, so this is either Nate is making this sound so absurd that we won't believe it's true, but like, come on.
The thing is, though, like, if everything is a bit more like, things are a bit more rough and ready in the 80s and weirder game-wise. Like, not everything's super polished, so like some of the weirder stuff could be justified by the era. Like even the name Savage Pond, like, you would not call a game Savage Pond now.
It even had an eco message because like a geezer would occasionally come and dump radioactive waste.
Yeah, no, you've gone too far now.
No, you know what? Actually, no, I think this is nice.
You think this is nice?
Yeah, I think he's throwing in something weird at the end to try and make us say ooh la la.
You think this is true? You think Savage Ponds,
Yeah,
a game that the box art was a load of animals looking like angry pub men?
but this is just how Nate's describing it. This is how he sees everything in the world.
There's a bit where a frog winks and then has sex with another frog.
Okay, that does sound very 80s video game. All right, Matthew, I'm gonna go with you, but if we get shot by Large Charles because of this.
Nice.
Oh, Matthew got it. It's real. I was just, I was pulling out more and more nonsense to try and make it seem unbelievable.
But that's the thing, because that's normally where it goes wrong. Like in the sort of the Jenga tower of nonsense. Yeah. It's that final piece. But Nate knows that we're expecting that to happen. Yeah.
I love the absolutely intense metagame that's involved around Cavern of Lies.
It's very high level play.
Once you're in the Cavern of Lies, it's got a weird atmosphere, you know. It
really does.
Vibes.
So this next one is called The Seal World, and again, it's an educational game. This time about seals, and you may remember the MTV series, The Real World, which has been running since sometime in the 90s.
Yeah.
So this was based on that, and it was about a family of seals living in Seal Diego, because The Real World's set in San Diego. That was a mixed message to begin with because seals live. It was like the Arctic, but San Diego's. Anyway, that's just my problem with it because it's really irritated me researching it. It was drawing on the reality show craze to teach kids about seals. And it was obnoxious. This is before sort of like Insta culture and things like that. So at least we were spared sort of seals taking selfies. But yeah, it was about a family of seals and it was all done as a mock reality show.
Right. So, earlier you said, why isn't there like a Sims challenge game called Brags to Britches?
Yes.
The Seal World, based on the real world in Seal Diego, has the exact same energy as that.
Now, listen, Sharky and George was set in sea cargo, and that made millions. So I don't think it's stretching things too much. I take your point, massive Brags to Britches energy, but like...
This was an educational game.
Well, ostensibly, yeah.
By
and
whom?
They based it on the real world. They thought, we're aiming something at kids, so let's spoof the real world.
Well, yeah, reality TV was a new thing. Everyone knew about it, even if they didn't watch it. It's about like the format and the recognition, right? Rather than kids having an intimate knowledge of the show.
Was this also sponsored by a zoo?
I don't know, actually. I'm assuming some sort of charitable involvement. It was a web game, and like it sank without a trace. Well, no, there is a trace, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the misfortune to know about it. But it was panned. It was absolute garbage.
It was panned by all the people that review educational web games.
All the people who, respected...
All the people who liked Savage Pond were like, this isn't seal realism.
Exactly. Yeah, this is not the real deal for seals. This is a bit more...
You know what else isn't the real deal, Nate? Is this story. I'm sorry. I just can't get past. I just imagine you, and you type in your notes for Cabin of Lies, and then you're like, Seal World, or Seal Diego, or based on the real. No, I can't. I mean, unless Matthew's
Seal
got
Diego isn't even a pun, really.
I'll admit that was me looking at the Wikipedia page for the real world and deciding to bite off more than I could chew. Yes, this one's a lie.
It's tough.
It's so hard on camera. It's so hard. I love this. What a thrill.
All my God.
Two quick ones to sling at you.
Pets. Two?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah. This is Pets Crazy Monkeys. So that's 3 Zs, one in each word.
Yeah.
And this was made by Ubisoft.
Ubisoft. Yeah. Okay.
And it revolved around caring for a monkey. Essentially, there are only 2 types of monkeys, but you could unlock others. But you had 2 monkeys to choose from, and they had different types of coats they could wear.
What year was this?
2009. And there were things your monkey could do. You could give it food, you could play with it. You could give it clothes. You could breed it chillingly. Or you could make it watch TV and wait for it. The only thing it could watch was an advert for the game you were playing.
All right. Now, 2009, we are into Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
So I don't know if...
Are they that hard up for cash?
But would they need a monkey game?
I mean, pets is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like they had cats and dogs. The question is, did they ever enter monkey territory?
I quite want to know if the next one is going to be a monkey one as well, because I feel like there'll be at least one real monkey one. I don't know. What?
I'm leaning ooh la la because he's taken a realistic series and just applied it to monkeys. That's my feeling.
I mean, I'd go with ooh la la as well because
God, that revolver's getting mighty itchy in Large Charles's hand.
He's very disciplined.
Well, come on, we've done well so far.
Yeah, he's worried you're going to escape.
He's worried he's not going to get to shoot a man today.
Yeah, that's what he lives for. It's the only pleasure he's got left.
All right, let's say ooh la la on this one because I don't think maybe it's a mobile game. Let's go ooh la la.
It's real. It's totally real. It was for the Wii. This was my...
even worse. I should know that.
Yeah.
My trick card today. Okay, the final one then. So, Platypops, which was the sort of cutesy platypus game.
Yeah.
From... I don't know when that was. I think around about the same time as that. But this was the DLC... or expansion, you would have called it then, I guess. I don't know when that term started. Probably around like the advent of Steam. This sort of early 2000s, bit of Burrows of the World, which is the one where you got you could have platypuses visit your sanctuary from the various different sort of global sanctuaries.
Wait,
And
so the game is called Platy Pops,
yeah,
Burrows of the World.
well, it was the Burrows of the World expansion. Yeah.
Burrows of the World.
Well, no, like Platypops is real. You know about that one.
No.
It was like I guess like for tweens or whatever. It was.
So
very
this is
cute.
the thing. I think would be quite a brazen move, but I think he might be saying like, so you know about this thing that was real, in the hope that we would go, oh yeah.
I've never heard of the existence of something called Platy Pops. But
Well,
this
with
is an
all due
extra...
respect, you probably weren't a 13-year-old girl in
Yeah, so
2004.
that's fair. So then the question
I was
is...
a 14-year-old girl in 2004.
Oh no!
Were
My
you wild
subconscious
for Platy
misogyny
Pops?
is the better of me.
Did you like Platy Pops?
I have no memory of Platypops.
Are you serious? Because Ashley played this all the time.
Okay, all right. Well,
A game that was so big and popular that it got an expansion
Well, it wasn't
they called-
huge.
that they called Burrows of the World.
Well, it was pretty lazy stuff. I mean, it was the classic, like, there was a German platypus with lederhosen, and there was, like, some, Japanese platypuses who would come over and make bonsai trees and things like that in your sanctuary garden. Like, it was pretty basic.
It's pretty broad stuff.
Yeah.
It
was a raging commercial success.
I don't think any part of this is real. I don't think Platy Pops itself is real.
That honestly surprises me. Like, and Alice, I thought it would have been up your street, to be fair.
right, okay. I'm not having this. This is so brazen. This is a lie. And even if he says it's not a lie, he's going to be lying about that. This isn't true.
I can't believe you're so sharp. Like, if I ever murder someone, like you're not going to be the person I try to hide it from. There was no Platy Pops. I was just trying to gaslight you.
You mean to tell me that teenage girls weren't obsessed with virtual platypuses? Platypi? No.
I think it would be great. I would play Burrows of the World.
Oh, no way.
Well, Large Charles pulls the bar off the door and just rubs his stomach hungrily. There'll be no man flesh for him tonight. But that's all well, because gorillas should not eat meat.
Oh my
You're free
goodness.
to leave the Cavern of Lies.
Great. Cheese it.
Oh, that Beastmaster was a dick.
He certainly was.
Oh my god. Platypops. That was... It was when you said I would have thought that would have been up your street, but I was like, nah. That was the bridge too far.
Like how you've... Ashley
Strong
loved it.
performance.
Oh my god. Anyway, okay. So, Platypops. Thank you for that excellent Cavern of Light. You're still in the cavern, Nate. Quick.
Jesus.
I believe it has now come time for us to say goodbye. Thank you very much, everyone who's joined us for this, the special live edition of Garfield Kart Furious Racing fan podcast, the Electronic Wireless Show, Rock Paper Shotguns Gaming Podcast, and the only podcast you need, in my opinion. My name is Alice Bell, and we have been joining you live today as part of PAX X EGX. Specifically for the EGX digital side, but do check out everything going on at PAX Online and EGX Digital right up until the 20th, so loads of days left at paxegx.com. And do check out the Indies Uncovered day of live streaming on Thursday. Matthew and Cullen from the rockpapershotgun.com video team will be streaming loads of really good, really fun little indie games, sometimes with developers as well. It's very exciting. This week remains only for us to do our recommendations. Each week we recommend something that is not a video game. which the lads should have prepared because we do it every week. I did ask them at the start of the podcast, and they looked a bit deer in headlights-y, but we'll see. Matthew, what have you got to recommend?
I have just finished an excellent book called The Psychology of Time Travel by, I'm going to absolutely massacre her surname, so apologies, Kate Mascarenhas. If you look for Psychology of Time Travel, you'll find it. It is, of course, a murder mystery, but it is also about time travel, the invention of time travel, and the industry of time travel, like how it would actually function if time travel was a known thing in the world, and how you would manage it. And
it actually does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
Cool.
I believe the author is a psychologist, and it's sort of, there's elements of like, well, yeah, the psychology of it and what it does to the travelers. And I really liked the kind of practical world of time travel in it, but it's also quite a good time travel enabled murder mystery. Great characters, really to the point. Yeah, fantastic book. I really enjoyed it.
Excellent.
That's it.
Good recommendation. Thank you very much. Nate, what have you got to recommend this week?
It's a book from me this week. I'm about to catch up on Adrian Tchaikovsky's latest book, Doors of Eden, but made me think about his back catalogue, book of his I read last year called Cage of Souls, which is a super far future book in that sort of really almost dreamlike early 20th century sort of dying planet subgenre, but perfectly modern as well. It's just astonishingly imaginative. Has a really frightening prison in it, which I thought was good. And this week's component of your RPS subscription fish tank is the Asta F120 freshwater planted tank light from Lumini, which is the light I have over there. You can see it. It's a very bright one.
We're just looking at Garfield.
Oh yeah, bloody Garfs.
If you look over here, picture of Garfield.
It looks exactly like Garfield. It's chilling. No, I call it the I call it the lantern of the gods. It's extremely bright.
That's what I call Garfield.
He's more the warning of the gods. That's it. That's all I got.
That's all you got. This week I'm going to recommend, I probably recommended it before, but I'm going to recommend a podcast from which I stole the idea of doing recommendations at the end, which is a podcast called the I Don't Even Own a Television podcast, where two guys review, it's a podcast about bad books. So they read a book that is bad, and then they sort of go through it and talk about it. But it's not a very kind of like, it's not mean, which is nice. It's very good-natured. They've been doing a lot of cozy mystery novels recently. They did 2 in a row that were both called Daxon Through the Snow, but were completely different, but just both had the same title, and were sort of dog-based cozy mysteries. And they've done some really good episodes about sports biographies, about Steven Seagal's book, Way of the Shadow Wolves. And it's just a really nice, wholesome time, and I would recommend that. But now, dear, not just listener, but viewer, it's time for us to say goodbye. So remember to check out everything else going on at PAX EGX. Nate has done a really good interview with Sid Meier, which is already online now. Remember the streams for Indies Uncovered on Thursday. Remember some really great stuff coming up from the rest of the RPS crew. So Nate, you've been playing Dwarfheim, which is up
and
already.
Dwarf Fortress as well.
Dwarf Fortress,
Dwarf Fortress,
which will be will be coming out this weekend as well. I've interviewed Chris Gardner from Fair Better Games about how to write endings, which was really interesting. Catherine Castle has interviewed the Inkle devs as well. And I believe Nate has done a presentation about the history of Jason Statham in video games as well. So we've got loads of fun stuff. And that's just what we're doing. Boy, howdy, what is everyone else up to? I don't know because I didn't look up at the schedule ahead of time. But do like and subscribe to the podcast. Do, if you liked this, which why wouldn't you, use the hashtags Big Oats and Fat Blood.
Hashtag Fat Blood.
Hashtag Fat Blood. We have a merch store, we have a Discord, and we have an excellent website where we talk about all things PC games, www.rockpapershotgun.com. And from me, Alice Bell, from Matthew Castle, and from Nate Crowley is goodbye. Have a lovely week.
Bye.
Keep waving until they tell us we're not live.
I'm drowning in Garfield.